Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna warn you today is gonna be a little dark. It's all about Leonardo DiCaprio. It's called, what did I name this? Leonardo DiCaprio is a slave. I did an episode about this maybe a year ago called "Why Did No One Help Leonardo DiCaprio?" And I've had more time to reflect on it, and I think I figured some stuff out. I'll show you some original footage of him on the set of Growing Pains and some of this stuff, and who he worked with, and the convicted pedophiles that were surrounding him his entire childhood, and why they break people. Here's a shot of DiCaprio in a humiliation ritual on the set of What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I want to feel bad for him that I remember he's probably eating kids. You don't know that. I would guess that this is more what he is. This is DiCaprio. And he's a pawn. A lot of groups have hazing rituals where you beat someone down, build them back up. It's what the Marines do. It's what everybody does. And the globalist elites do it with sex with children. And then why do they do that? Because they absolutely break the person starting at a very young age. The Jesuits do this as well. And obviously the Grabblers do this. And then from there, you build them up in whatever image you want. So let's talk about Leonardo DiCaprio. Because I saw this, right? Vanity Fair. Today in positive news, Leonardo DiCaprio and Greta Thunberg are joining forces. History will judge us for what we do today to help guarantee that future generations can enjoy the same livable planet that we have so clearly taken for granted. Quote unquote, regram Leonardo DiCaprio. And someone sent this to me and said they probably bonded over being touched and brainwashed by Grabblers. Because when you look at these people that they march out to enact their global initiatives, they all start somewhere. Would you like to see where Leonardo DiCaprio started?
Drawings.
Show us the little drawings.
Oh, you see, we draw drawings of each other. Brian is the famous artist, and we always make fun of each other and portray each other in silly, satirical ways.
Leo's job on this set, for some reason, is to make fun of me all day long.
Okay, so here we have Robert
See how he walked? I don't want to be too graphic, but it's pretty disturbing when you find out who Brian Peck is. Hang on.
Leo's job on this set, for some reason, is to make fun of me all day long.
Okay, so here we have Robert De Niro, right there.
Brian Peck, writer, director, producer, is widely known for his role in movies like Return of the Living Dead, X-Men. X-Men was directed by another pedophile of a certain tribal descent named Bryan Singer. Boy Meets World. He's also widely known for being in prison for 1 year and 4 months with charge of abusing a child for sex. 2004, Brian Peck was in prison for committing a lewd act against a child under 14, attempting sodomy by a foreign object, and oral copulation without knowledge of a person under 16. According to the report, the victim was Nickelodeon star, where he doesn't want his name to be revealed. Peck pleads no contest, where he was sentenced to 16 months jail with registered as a sex offender. His charges were 8 counts of sexual abuse using a child for sex acts and oral copulation by anesthesia or controlled substance. He knocked out a young kid and raped him. He used to do it all the time. Okay, so my first question was, why did no one protect him? Oh, and there's more. Here's a headshot of Leonardo DiCaprio as a young boy, and his headshot photographer was Bob Villard. A number of men associated with the 80s hit show Growing Pains, and in particular, one of the show's child star DiCaprio are convicted pedophiles. A female staff member on Growing Pains suggested that Kirk Cameron, during his conversion to Christianity, showed concern to DiCaprio and warned him of the numerous pedophiles associated with the show and in Hollywood in general, and that DiCaprio used this information to blackmail the offenders into more prominent movie roles. Brian Peck convicted Steve Marshall, Bob Villard. Bob Villard also took young teenage boys, photos of Tom Cruise, Jason Bateman, Leonardo DiCaprio, yada yada. I believe he was sentenced to... Growing Pains star Kirk Cameron caught Marshall on set with other producers looking at child porn. 3 producers actually left his show when Cameron phoned the ABC president to tell them they were pornographers. Kirk had many questionable photos taken by prolific serial pedophile publicist Bob Villard of Globe Photos, Inc., which can still be found online right now. Bob Villard, Bobby V, is a convicted pedophile, and he did all of DiCaprio's photos. Let's watch a little bit more of the hellish life of Leonardo DiCaprio, and then I'll get into why they do this.
I was sort of a class clown, and my publicist is looking at me.
By the way, the publicist that's looking at him is a convicted pedophile. And then DiCaprio's agent. Hollywood talent agent defends against pedophilia allegations by claiming 11-year-old victim wanted it. In a story that will no doubt ruin your day, we learned of yet another disturbing that. Following this month's tale of Jason James, the casting agent who happened to also be a convicted kidnapper and accused child molester, we meet Martin Weiss, also from the same tribe of individuals that wear very small hats. Weiss was charged with 8 felonies relating to sexual abuse allegations made by a former underage client. The former client, an 18-year-old musician actor, reportedly crimes to police. Weiss actually assaulted him around 11 until he turned 15 when he stopped working as his manager. Weiss reportedly intimidated the victims by threatening their careers. The victim says Weiss told him that what they were doing was common practice in the entertainment industry, and if they were victim were to tell anyone, it would ruin the careers. Weiss' defense that the victim asked for it. Weiss claimed the boy invited the sex and claimed the Penn State situation was different because those kids didn't want it. The affidavit states Weiss, who faces 34 years in prison, has worked with several child actors on shows like iCarly, Parenthood, and the Muppets movie. He also worked with Leonardo DiCaprio. In 2004, Brian Peck was in prison for committing a lewd act against a child under 14. So let's see if he's worked since 2004. Freaks of Nature, Murder Bullet, Anger Management, Jack and the Beanstalk, Designed for Dreaming, Forever Strong, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody on Nickelodeon, House of Fears, Outlaw Trail, What I Like About You TV series, X-Men. Okay, so a guy that was imprisoned for shoving a foreign object up a young boy's anus was open for business in Hollywood again. Okay, let's watch a little more of the DiCaprio story. This is how you break someone into doing anything that you want them to. It's how you make a slave, guys.
The latest, hottest, hunkiest teen idol there is.
Yeah, his muscles.
Look, speaking of hunky, huh?
Leah, what's it like to be a teen idol?
Ask her Cameron. I don't. Well, I see my pictures there, and it's fun seeing those, and I haven't really got the full impact of it yet, so.
I don't know about that teen thing. I mean, I think it's good. I think it's good for publicity, but they don't, it's almost like they're not actors, you know what I mean? And it's like they portray them as like sort of a piece of meat. Like, you know, here's the new cute thing, take a look at him and go, ooh.
Okay, it's really sad. I get it, but you have to understand that this boy was allegedly. I'm alleging. I'm just the jury's still out, but the odds are almost 100% that he was viciously and constantly raped by pedophiles his entire childhood. Groups of them passed around. You know, photographed, mocked, humiliated. He had no father. His mother was insane. And so this is a kid that was deeply damaged. And so what do, they put him in movies so that women associate romance, love, sexuality, all this stuff with him. And men want to be him because he gets all these women. He's probably never been with a woman. That's my guess. His brain is so screwed up and so wired off that they'll march him out with the newest supermodel or something to try and make people think that there's a reason he doesn't have kids, he doesn't have a wife, he's probably never been with a woman. His brain is fried. And so they make all these young women fall in love with him so that when he talks nonsense in the future, they will listen. Because when you get women, you get the heartbeat of the American family. And so he was passed around on websites as a kid by pedophiles. This is not someone to look up to. This is someone who is really, really messed up mentally. A little trivia about Brian Peck, the pedophile I just showed you. He was selected by Bryan Singer as his partner for the X-Men. Bryan Singer was born on September 17, 1965. What has he done? The Gifted, Bohemian Rhapsody, Legion, 16 episodes. X-Men Apocalypse, Battle Creek, 13 episodes. Black Box, 13 episodes. Spooked, 4 episodes. X-Men Days of Future Past. H+, Jack and the Giant Slayer, producer, You Want Me to Kill Him, Ronnie and I. Mockingbird Lane, House TV series executive producer, 176 episodes. X-Men First Class, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Dirty Sexy Money, Valkyrie, The Plot to Kill Hitler, Trick or Treat. All of this is after he was accused by several young boys of raping and molesting them. X2, X-Men United, Burn, Apt Pupil. One of the boys in Apt Pupil killed himself, but before doing that, he let everyone know that Ian McKellen and Bryan Singer had raped him in the shower. So how do they make a DiCaprio? How do they make someone that will just march out anything they're told? And you wonder, you say, how could someone do that? Well, I'll show you how they do it, because they are this. This isn't Leonardo DiCaprio. That's a character named Jack. So, paid by millions to depict a liar, a cheater, a murderer, a fraudster, a thief, a gambler, and to sell global finance initiatives painted as stopping the world from getting hotter with guilt and hypocritical condemnation. Status, grab or gimp. Prescription, public repentance. Consensus, forgivable. Mercy, rejection, punishment, severe public shame. Unless it turns out that Leonardo DiCaprio is doing this to other kids, there's zero evidence that he's doing that. My current thought is that he is that he is just a gimp to be sent out and to push global initiatives. And the reason it works is because in women's hearts, he's that. But in reality, he's that. How did he get there? He was raped his whole childhood. His brain is wired so he can't seek love. That's how this all works, guys. There's a reason that people do this to children. In my opinion, judging by Leonardo DiCaprio's career, who he worked with as a child, and his lack of family, and his absolute marching orders of the globalist elite, he was raped constantly as a kid. He had no father to protect him. He had an insane mother who wanted to live vicariously through her daughter that she named Leonardo because of some painting. And so the reason they're not going to jail, and the reason they keep being sent out, is because they serve a purpose for the globalists. The purpose is to create gimps. You take a little boy, you do things to him, and then you own him. You know? Now he's pushing whatever they want. Greta is in the same boat. And this is in positive news. Leonardo DiCaprio and Greta. The good news is, guys, this is all coming out. Young girls are not idolizing Hollywood boys like they used to. Not even close. But just judging from societal observation, they don't seem to be into these guys anymore because I think they're acting so gay.